Hey, what up everybody? My name's OP, Artist Relations Manager for Serato. And today the newest version of Serato DJ Lite and Serato DJ Pro support this thing right here, the Hercules DJControl Inpulse 500 controller. So before we go forward talking about all the features on the controller, I gotta say this thing really quickly. This is meant to work with Serato DJ Lite, Serato DJ Pro, but also with Hercules' own DJ software. Now we're only talking about the Serato products, but it's important to note that certain things that are labeled on the controller might work with the Hercules software in one way, but also work different inside of Serato DJ Lite or DJ Pro. The features are still there, you can still rock with them, but it might say something different to what you're seeing. I'll show you the things that work in Lite and Pro, so that way you can get busy and have a lot of fun with it. All right, so let's talk about the great things with this controller. The first thing that stands out to me the most are the legs. They're retractable. This is great. You can have the controller lifted above the table, so you don't have to lean over as much to get to controls on the controller. You also have your RGB pads here for all of your different modes for playing with Serato DJ Lite and DJ Pro. Let's start with the hot cues. So the pads are super responsive. You can press them, they respond really quickly. You can make another hot cue if you want to, just by pressing and triggering it. And if you want to get rid of it, hold down Shift and press the pad and it's gone. Right below that, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for the pads do some pretty cool things. The first thing, reverse, which is pretty cool on pad number 5. Pad number 6 is going to be a rewind. Pad number 7 is going to be a fast forward. And pad number 8 is going to be a reverse roll, right? Pretty cool what you can do with that. So the next one are the loops. So for your loops, you have your manual loops. Punch in, punch out. And if you need to make some adjustments to those loops, press number 1 to the punch in and you can adjust with the platter to get it right to the beginning of the beat. And also number 2 to do the same thing for the end of the beat. And it's good to go with the manual loop. If you want to turn that loop off, press number 3. And if you want to re-trigger it, press number 4. Or hold down Shift and trigger it like a cue point, pretty easily. Turn it off again with number 3. And again, remember 5, 6, 7, and 8 are going to be all those things we just talked about before with reversing and fast forwarding and so on and so forth. All right, so the next thing is going to be for the auto loops. Here it says slicer, but inside of Serato DJ Lite, it works for auto loops. So number 1, 2, 3, and 4 are gonna be your loop sizes. Number 1 is gonna be for 1 beat. Number 2 is gonna be for a 2-beat loop. Number 3 is gonna be for a 4-beat loop. And number 4 is gonna be for an 8-beat loop. Now again, by pressing these pads, you can turn them on and also turn them off for the loops. You can also do the same thing with the encoder knob here. So you can either use the encoder knob to make the loop size smaller or larger, or you can press down on it to turn it on or to turn it off pretty easily. And remember, right below that, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are gonna do all those cool things with reversing, fast forwarding, and so on and so forth. And for the last feature with the pad modes, we have the sampler. So we have 4 samples that are preloaded inside of Serato DJ Lite, classic air horn sounds, and a couple other sounds that are there as well. Now what's cool about this is that when you trigger a sample, you can hold down Shift and turn the sound off, right? So on and then Shift and pressing the pad will turn it off, which is pretty cool. And remember, right below that, pads 5, 6, 7, and 8 will do all those cool things that we talked about before with reverse and fast forward and rewind and so on and so forth. So all these pad features here, really cool on the Hercules DJControl Inpulse 500 controller. So let's talk about the mixer section on the controller. So first with the EQs, really clean isolator EQs, taking all of the bands out for the EQs. Right below that, we have a filter section. So a clean high pass and also a nice low pass as well. And if I press the effects buttons here, then this will get me into the effects inside of Serato DJ Lite that I can use with this filter knob. So I have my echo that's here, and this turning it either left or right is going to turn up the amount on the echo or any of the other effects, right? So if I go to effects number 2, With the reverb, it's gonna be the same thing with that. And effects number 3, good nice flanger there, is gonna be the same going both ways. Let's go back to the echo real quick. Post fader on the echo, which is pretty cool. I like that. Up here at the top, we have our load section, so I can scroll through my tracks and then load a track in if I want to by pressing the load button on either the left deck or the right deck. And another thing that's really cool here is that every time that you get to a downbeat on a track in a bar, it's gonna turn red, and then you'll see the beats in between be blue. So visually, you know you're gonna be on beat as you're DJing and going along. A nice feature added on here in the mixer section for the controller. And the last thing to talk about with Serato DJ Lite is the beat match guide. Now this is really great for beginner DJs. Let's say that you're just starting off DJing, trying to figure out how to match beats together, and you can't necessarily hear what's going on, and you need a little bit of a guide to help you along the way. So let's say that you go to start the track and it's a little bit off, right? It will either tell that you need to kind of nudge the platter forward or kind of pull it back a little bit. So with these notches on the side here, I'm just gonna kind of push going forward. And as I do that, it's gonna tell me that I'm gonna be in beat alignment, which means that both of those beats are gonna be locked in together, playing at the same time. So when I move the crossfader over, it's locked in. And even in the middle, both of them are playing at the same time, which is great. So again, for beginner DJs, this beat alignment is going to help you figure out how to match these beats and have them work really well for your DJ sets. So we talked about Serato DJ Lite. Now let's jump over to Serato DJ Pro with the controller. Now, if you have a Serato DJ Pro license or you purchase one from Serato.com for $129, then you can unlock more features with this controller. Let's talk about the hot cues. For example, with the hot cues, instead of having 4 with Serato DJ Lite, now you have 8. Work exactly the same way, just more hot cues to work with. Now, when I hold down Shift and press hot cue, this gets me into pitch play. If you have the Pitch and Time DJ expansion pack, then you can use pitch play on this controller. So you can kind of move up and down in semitone using pitch play. If you hold down Shift and press the N here, this is now going to work as a parameter button to shift where the root note is for pitch play. Right? And again, doing that again the opposite way, same result, but going up in semitones. So very easy to use pitch play with the controller. All right, so let's talk about the loop section on the controller. Now, if I hold down Shift and press loop, this will get me to my loop rolls here. Right, so using those pads there for the loop rolls. Remember again, you can change the size of the loop rolls, right, by using the encoder knob here. Very easily, pretty cool. And right below that are gonna be the beat jumps. So with the beat jumps, I can use these pads here in the middle to change the size that I want to beat jump forward or backwards, right? And then from there, I can make jumps. So I'm gonna do it to, let's say, a half. So I can beat jump going back and forward by half a beat, or make some drastic jumps by going as far as 32 beats forward in the track. And I can keep on doing that. As you see inside the screen, I'm jumping forward in the track by 32 beats, or going backwards, doing the same thing as well. So that's the loop section here for the pads inside of Serato DJ Pro with the Hercules controller. So let's talk about the slicer. So with the slicer, over 2 bars as it's going through the song, I can go to every quarter note and use the pads to slice it up to kind of rearrange the track as it's going along, which is pretty cool. When I hold down Shift and press slicer, this will get me into the auto loops. So here I have a 16-beat auto loop that's set up. I can make that smaller by going to 8, right? Or I can go down to 4. And I can also, again, use the encoder knob here for the auto loops to also adjust the size of those auto loops, making them smaller or bigger as they're going along. And again, pressing down on the auto loop encoder knob or pressing on the pad will get you out of that. And right below that again are the beat jumps, which we just talked about before. And the last feature that we have for the pad modes is the sampler. Now with Serato DJ Pro, it unlocks 8 samples for you to trigger off instead of 4, which you have inside of Serato DJ Lite. Right, so all those 8 I can trigger off very easily. And remember, as you trigger them off, you can also hold down Shift to turn it off if you need to stop it, right? So pretty easy with the sampler here on the Hercules controller. So the mixer section on the controller works the same way inside of Serato DJ Lite as it does inside of Serato DJ Pro. You have the isolator EQs and the filter here, high pass and low pass works exactly the same way. And your effects section using the filter knob, the same thing as well. So that clean echo out, that's there, right, for effect slot number 1, number 2, with the echo and the post fader effect, which is really cool. And also number 3 here for the reverb, which is also nice as well. So that section there, exactly the same way inside of Serato DJ Lite as inside of Serato DJ Pro. So this section up here is pretty cool. We have vinyl here. So this allows us to be able to cut and scratch with the platter. Right, if I turn that off, now I can use the platter to slow down or speed up the track to make it work, kind of nudging if you want to make your 2 tracks work together while you're mixing songs. You also have slip here, which is great, right? So you can kind of rewind the platter and it's going to jump back to the place where it should have been in the song after the kind of rewind is done. Or with your cue points as well, you can do the same thing. Right? And then you also have quantize here. So with quantize, if you want to make it to where you're always going to be on beat when you press that cue point, turn quantize on and it's there to work. Quantize works specifically with Serato DJ Pro. It does not work with Serato DJ Lite. So one thing to note with that feature on the controller. You have a dedicated mic section with a balanced quarter mic input. It also has 1/4 inch outputs on the back and RCA outputs on the back as well. So you have various options for your master sound to go out. So the Hercules DJControl Inpulse 500 retails at $299. Again, for having all these great features on a light controller, it's incredible for the price point. My name's OP, Artist Relations Manager for Serato, and we'll see you next time. Peace.